There we are.
Welcome, welcome.
Good morning.
This is LifeSource Coaches, and we're glad you've joined us for tips for overcoming fear and anxiety during this COVID chaos season.
Right.
We have 4 days of tips that we're going to be doing at 10 a.m. each day. This is tip number 1, and we're glad you've joined us. And our hope here and our encouragement is to help all of us to kind of overcome the fear and anxiety that comes in this season of unknown and new territory. So Sherry, thanks for joining us. Lisa, we're glad you're watching this morning too. I'm Dave Robson.
And I am Sue Robson, and we are life and leadership coaches credentialed with the ICF. And we've been coaching, combined a long time.
Yeah, 40 plus years, and ministry before that, and have our own business, both coaching for-profit and non-profit. So we're glad you've joined us. Good morning, Rihanna. It's good to see you this morning. Glad you're here.
So if you've joined us today, we invite you to go into the memo section, give us an emoji, a thumbs up, or let us know where you're checking in from.
Yeah, show us some love.
Yep.
Good morning, Lisa. Hit that heart button, and if you want, leave some comments. Let us know this morning where you're dialing in from, and what city you're in. And this morning, our purpose is to help all of us to kind of get our bearings, to kind of get ground zero and that GPS. You can't really know where you're going until you figure out where your starting location is. And so the first thing we did when we signed up live this morning, it says, what can we access your location? So that's what our hope and our point is this morning, is to kind of begin by acknowledging our feelings.
Right. And yeah, I was listening to a Brene Brown podcast. She's got a new podcast, and she talked about the first time. You know, the first time we do something, it's uncomfortable, and I was feeling that this morning as we were getting started with
we were
this.
Feeling a little stress and anxiety.
Just trying to get kind of the learning curve with Facebook Live and all of those things, but it's been fun, and so we're looking forward to this experience. And really the whole COVID experience is a first time for so many of us. I mean, It's tapping into a lot of anxiety for a lot of different reasons. And so, as Dave mentioned, the first thing is just saying where we are, what's going on in our present experience. And
yeah, I mean, all of us have various fears going on at various levels and various focuses. I mean, all of us are concerned about our health, and maybe it's more especially those in our families who are more vulnerable. We have economic fears. The Congress is kicking in some support there. We've got our own financial fears and our own situations regarding our jobs and our careers, and some of us have already experienced the repercussions of that with some unemployment.
Right.
We have relationship fears. We're in lockdown. Some of us as parents are starting to say, what does it look like to become a first-time teacher, and how do I farm out my students and suspend them and stuff like that?
Well, and just the news. I mean, watching the news, I notice we try to really limit how much of the news we watch and only turn it on once a day for a little while, because I can just feel my anxiety heighten as I watch the news. And so
yeah, if you want, you can just type in the comment section. What level is your fear right now? And it doesn't matter necessarily what direction that fear is focused in, but on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your general anxiety level? If it's really, really high, maybe it's an 8 or a 9. If it's really, really low, and maybe it's a 2 or 3 level. But all of us have these feelings of anxiety. And so part of our purpose today is to recognize and acknowledge and affirm, each of us, that our feelings are not right or wrong. Our feelings are part of how our body responds to life and the reality around us. And so there's kind of two general feelings that we want to help you guys acknowledge this morning and affirm you in is first is that aspect of loss. We mentioned health, economy, relationships, community. None of us have been here before, and so we have this aspect of loss that we find ourselves emotionally grieving. Yeah. There's sadness, there's anger, there's frustration that occurs in the midst of loss.
And there's change. There's a lot of change happening. So in the midst of that loss, change, it really is important, once again, to check in, acknowledge, validate the reality of what's really happening. And it's okay.
Yeah. And the other feeling is a feeling of being lost. Not just lost, but we don't know where we are. This is uncharted territory for all of us, our government included, as well as where we are in our families, with our kids, our friendships. And so that lostness of saying, how do I get my feet on ground zero?
Right. I like the word unmoored. I think about a boat that's moored to a dock. And it feels a little bit like we've lost our bearings a little bit with the things that we used to call normal are no longer normal. So that feeling of loss and the feeling of lost are both really very real right now.
So the first wave, our first tip for getting grounded here this morning is to just kind of get centered, to acknowledge that it's okay to be fearful. It's okay to have some anxieties. That is normal. We'd be worried about you. You probably need a little white suit with no sleeves if you weren't feeling some kind of heightened emotion and anxiety and some fear. And so what you want to do is we want to do just a quick exercise that we call a centering exercise. Some people might call it an aspect of meditation. But we want to just begin and touch on the 4 aspects of who we are as human beings. That first aspect is that we have a mind, we have a mindset, and we need to kind of push the pause button on all those thoughts that are going on.
Racing, tangling thoughts.
Saying, what ifs? And just say, how do I just be still in the moment? So we want to kind of push the pause button and center in and take a deep breath. And so as we push pause on our mindset, we also want to breathe and just become aware of our body and what's going on in our body. Where is the tension in your body? So begin by taking a deep breath. Inhale through your nose.
All right, we're going to practice.
And exhale through your mouth. Take about 3 deep breaths.
I like to keep my hands open during these times too, just to receive and release.
Just relax. Noticing your body. Start with your face. Try to relax your eyebrows. Close your eyes if you'd like. Be aware of what your forehead is doing, whether it's wrinkled and concerned or relaxed. Then be aware of your shoulders and your neck. And try to relax your shoulder. Wiggle your head around a little bit. Roll your shoulders. Deeply breathe. Breathe from your tummy, not your chest. Deep breath in your stomach. Fill those lungs totally full. Be aware of your hips, your legs, all the way down to your feet. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. Just be aware of what's going on in your body. Part of that GPS of knowing where we are is being aware of what's going on in our body. And to be able to know that our bodies are the vessels that are energized by emotions that carry us into action based upon our decisions. And so that full aspect of our being, our mind, our body, our emotions, and then finally our spirit. What are we focused on? What are we hoping in? For Sue and I, our faith system is based upon Christianity and our relationship with Jesus. And so part of our focus in this centering time is upon talking to God. Just say, God, here's how I'm feeling. Here's what's going on in my life. And kind of unload that mindset, kind of like a journaling exercise. And that's something that you guys might also consider for finding this ground zero each day, is to keep a journal. But use this centering exercise maybe several times a day. Just becoming aware and center in. Push the pause button on all the thoughts. kind of centering on the emotions, to saying, okay, I'm going to breathe deep and release these emotions, which are energy. And we'll talk about those more here in the next couple tips over the next couple days.
I really would encourage you to put reminders on your phone. Set yourself up so that in the midst of a completely new schedule, new routines, again, those things unmoor us. And so put some new routines in and create some new systems. And for me, I set a reminder on my phone to do stretches after I met with my trainer on Zoom this morning. So, reminders on your phone can really help.
Sure. And so put on your phone 2 or 3 times a day to do this centering exercise, this deep breathing, and refocus your mind and your spirit and your heart. And then join us, and we've got more tips on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. Join us at 10 a.m. for these 10-minute clips, or check in later for the recording. And then also next Tuesday at 10 a.m. we're going to have a full hour of tips for overcoming fear. We're going to put this whole thing together and say, boy, how do I design a presence that day to day, week to week, that how I carry myself in dealing with the fear and anxiety and the overwhelm that can come in this season. So we're going to put all these little tips together, plus a lot more with some illustrations and examples next Tuesday at 10 a.m. for an hour as well. And we'll have more information coming up on that starting tomorrow.
How you can register, we'll be putting that in the links as well. So we're looking forward to seeing you every day this week at 10 a.m. And, Dave and I have really felt for a while that we have some tips and some tools that would be helpful to get out there.
Yeah.
And so every time, every crisis, every obstacle, I really believe carries an opportunity. And in the midst of this obstacle, we really encourage you to look for the opportunities. Where are those things around us? The things that you might have wanted to do or needed to do over time. And now you're getting a chance to, and maybe even being forced to do it.
So we'll look forward to that. You can keep up with us at LifeSourceCoaches.com, as well as here at the LifeSource Coaches Facebook page. Thanks again for joining us today. Blessings on the rest of your day and on your week, and we'll stay in touch.
We'll see you
Thanks,
next
you guys.
time.
Bye-bye.